Let's try it together. Listen to the songs and think about all the ways to describe.
Talking about size, like tiny, opinion, like wise, feeling, like happy, sad, or otherwise. Age, like antique, color, like brown. Adjectives are words that describe that. Talking about size, like tiny, opinion, like wise, feeling, like happy, sad, or otherwise. Age, like antique, color, like brown. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. Sometimes you just need more info. You need words to keep descriptions from being simple. And not asking the reasoning. Think of words as foods and adjectives, they will be the seasoning. One time I had a little puppy, 6-month-old collie by the name of Lucky. Every day we would run and frolic all playfully till I lost my grip on the leash. She got away from me. Made signs to put up around the neighborhood, hoping someone saw her and she wouldn't stay away for good. Without those describing words, I don't think I would've had a chance of finding her. Talking about size, like tiny, opinion, like wise, feeling, like happy, sad, or otherwise. Age, like antique, color, like brown. Adjectives are words that describe that. About size, like tiny, opinion, like wise, feeling, like happy, sad, or otherwise. Age, like antique, color, like brown. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. Something you need to know before you write it down. Adjectives will more than likely come before a noun. The big bad wolf, big and bad are adjectives. Throw them in the pot, no artificial additives. Hear my advice and take this. Master the basics and watch your grades rise like cake mix. Any good recipe got those in the mixture, and those are descriptors, and now you get the picture. Last thing I'll add, which is definitely worth mentioning. Adjectives usually describe intensity. Add an ER or EST, now it's nicer, or the nicest thing that I've ever seen. Brighter than the bright light, that will be the brightest. Grammar is free, but adjectives are priceless. Thank you for listening, and remember this: if you enjoy something, be sure you can describe it. Size, like tiny, opinion, like wise, feeling, like happy, sad, or otherwise. Age, like antique, color, like brown. Adjectives are words that describe that. About size, like tiny, opinion, like wise, feeling, like happy, sad, or otherwise. Age, like antique, color, like brown. Adjectives are words that describe nouns.
Listen closely to the next song and think about all of the words used to describe.
You know how we do it. Word up.
Adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. This is how it works, yep, haven't you heard? Adverbs are preferred when it comes to writing verbs. Listen, an adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. This is how it works, yep, haven't you heard? Adverbs are preferred when it comes to writing verbs. Listen, this is the story of my homegirl Tori. She had a lot of homework, thought it was boring. She got a paper due that was about 10 pages, and she needed the words to make it outrageous. Adverbs, words to describe the verbs and the adjectives that she was gonna write. So she skillfully wrote while she silently thought, and instantly she was off to a good start. But then she got stuck trying to talk about a place. Adverbs gave her a taste of literary grace. She could talk about anywhere, right here, over there, inside, out, or upstairs. She was elated from what she created. Was it because the words that she just integrated? Since adverbs speak about purpose, they intentionally brought her point to the surface. An adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. This is how it works, yep, haven't you heard? Adverbs are preferred when it comes to writing verbs. Listen, an adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. This is how it works, yep, haven't you heard? Adverbs are preferred when it comes to writing verbs. Listen, usually homework would get tough, but Tori was in the zone and she couldn't get enough. Seldom did she get into her work like this, but she had a lot of adverbs in her bag of tricks. She could talk about how often something went down, or describe when, like later, or right now. She was finally happy with what she had prepared, with a smile on her face from ear to there, and her head held high. You could tell why. You could take plenty of words and add an L-Y, and automatically you could have an adverb. One of the best writing tips that she had heard. The next time when you're feeling kind of trapped, you hit right at the top and you're about to snap. You should take a tip from Florrie, my own girl. She can help you write the best paper in the whole world. An adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. This is how it works. Yep, haven't you heard? Adverbs are preferred when it comes to writing words. Listen, an adverb modifies a verb, adjective, or even another adverb. This is how it works. Yep, haven't you heard? Adverbs are preferred when it comes to writing words. Listen.
Adverbs, we modify. You know how we do it. Word up.
Say these adjectives and adverbs describing words with me. Let's try it together. Californian. Say it with me. Californian. Most. Say it with me. Most. Really. Say it with me. Really. Beautiful. Say it with me. Beautiful. Particular. Say it with me. Particular. Great. Say it with me. Great. Three-dimensional. Say it with me. Three-dimensional. Primary. Say it with me. Primary. Whole. Say it with me. Whole. Diverse. Say it with me. Diverse. Tribal. Say it with me. Tribal. Several. Say it with me. Several. Multicultural. Say it with me. Multicultural. Follow along and find all of the describing words. Can you recognize the ones we just tried together?
To this day, Californian basketry is some of the most sought after basketry in the art world. People are really always looking for the weaving that's been done in California. They make these beautiful baskets. We hunted, we gathered. We were also mothers and fathers. We were also doctors, and we were also botanists and biologists and mathematicians. All those things you can see in our basketry. Our story has always been, what do we need to do to make sure that we are always here? And how can we make plans for always being here? These designs and this way that we make things really stands the test of time.
Baskets, when you look at them across time, you can almost have a conversation with the maker. You can see them making decisions, deciding on particular materials or a particular technique. Looking at a basket is being able to, in some ways, sort of talk across time and admire masters of work. If you ever have tried to make a basket, then you start to have a great deal more respect for how difficult it is. You know, it's a three-dimensional object, and you are having to lay out designs on that object and have them work with that shape. You just have to be able in your mind to see the finished product and then break it down into all the different steps along the way, which is there's actually a lot of math and geometry. Baskets were the primary tools of life. You could hunt with baskets, fish with baskets, you could carry things with baskets, cook with baskets, you harvested food, processed food, made beautiful things to give as gifts. And I think really one of the reasons we were able to do that here was because of that variety of plants. California is one of the spots in the whole world that has kind of the most diverse plant communities. And so you have this really cornucopia of plants that you can choose from to make your baskets. Today you'll see weavers that are not just from one tribal tradition, but from several tribal traditions that are mixing and matching, or weavers that are from one tribal tradition that are living somewhere else, and so they're using those materials with their home style of weaving methods. It's much more just like the world today. It's much more diverse and multicultural. Californian basketry is moving with the times.
Let's try it together. Artistic. Say it with me. Artistic. Complex. Say it with me. Complex. Biological. Say it with me. Biological. Scientific. Say it with me. Scientific. Cultural. Say it with me. Cultural. Immense. Some. Say it with me. Some. Forward. Say it with me. Forward. One. Say it with me. One. Generous. Say it with me. Generous. Different. Say it with me. Different. Favorite. Say it with me. Favorite. Hard. Say it with me. Hard. Let's try it together. We're going to build sentences. How can we build sentences? Find the sentences in your movie. How can you describe what she is doing? What description words can you think of? What verbs can you think of to describe her actions? What nouns can you use to describe the things, the people, and the places you see in the video?
A basket is so much more than just the product. It's a year or more of tending your gathering places and singing to those plants and all the stories and songs around that particular place and that particular plant. And the stewardship that goes along with being a weaver is immense. You tend to those things that are going to give of themselves so that you can practice your art. It's really a lifelong learning. It's cultural, it's biological, it's scientific. When you have to gather and process and dye your own materials, it's a much more complex artistic endeavor.
Now people like my cousin Tima, she's in the archives and she's visiting with those traditional baskets that are in museum collections to really learn from them, and their whole purpose is to revitalize it for the next generation. And so they're teaching. They're not only gathering all of this information and making their own art, but they're also sharing it with the community in the most generous, beautiful ways.
When you change from thinking about basketry and weaving as strictly functional and recognize that even in the function, there's art, how far can you stretch that art? You can stretch it anywhere you want. My joy as an artist is to start combining and stretching my thoughts about my weaving. Every culture around the world changes, innovates, moves forward. And if they don't, their culture dies. Weavers here in California, we're under actually a lot of pressure not to change, not to innovate, not to move forward from the outside world. If you take one step outside of this sort of box that they've decided is traditional, then what you're doing to them isn't true basketry, isn't true tradition. What's hard for us is, as a weaver, my obligation isn't to them, it's to my community. My obligation is to make sure that whatever changes happen in our communities, that I respond to them and help our culture move forward. My favorite moment as a weaver is when I have to innovate. I have to change something. So I'll look at this object that I'm making and I'm like, how am I going to fix this problem? How am I going to change this and fix the problem? I weave for the needs of my community, but every once in a while, I weave because I want to. So you also have a need as an artist.
Oh,